Okay, it's episode 3 of Side Stories, a podcast about people, and I'm here with my great friend Norbey to tell me about German politics and what's going on in Germany. So, what's
Hello.
about you? How do you want to tell people about yourself?
Yeah, like Bolly already introduced me. My name is Norbey. Thanks at this point for having me into your podcast and your interview. And yeah, I'm just a basically normal German guy that lives in Germany for most of his life, like you could say over 30 years, so 3 decades. And yeah, apparently my view on politics in Germany kind of got the attraction of Bolly and the other friends that I share a friendship with for a couple of years now via online. And yeah, so today I am here and hopefully can give you guys some good insight about current German politics.
Yeah, I don't know much about German politics. I don't pay too much about Europe, but from my understanding, um, European politics in general are like very far left compared to American politics, at least economically. So when I hear that there's these kind of like reactionary parties in Europe that are going to the right, they kind of seem silly to me almost because they're nowhere near as right leaning as America. So I guess when you see or you hear these claims in Germany, what are they saying are these like right leaning movements? Like, what are the components of a right leaning movement in Germany?
Well, that's basically easy to describe, it's mostly like neo-Nazis, just to describe them with one word. That is the current narrative. I don't know what kind of narrative you receive in America about European or German politics in general. So yeah, basically like you already mentioned, we have hard left-wing groups, politic groups like the SPD, CSU, and the Greens or the Grünen in German, and they try to force a narrative where everyone who stands with a different opinion is already like brandmarked as a Nazi and Islamophobe and a homophobe and everything that it's basically has a phobe at the end of it is like basically related to being right-wing oriented in politics.
So there's a lot of like they're trying to shame the movement, but
Exactly, yes.
yeah, so they're trying to just they're kind of make moral judgments of the character of the individuals of who join these parties, but like is there things that they connect to, like is it like like a phrase that I would think of to expect to hear going along these type of like Islamophobe, whatever the hell the kind of phobe. I would like a Germany for Germans or something like that. This kind of like almost ethno nationalism. Like, is that a component to these
Oh,
movements?
yeah, definitely. There's a component of this because you have to see it this way. There's always on both sides. You have groups that have normal people and hardliners. It is what it is. So of course we have on the right wing, on the conservative side, we have also people that are going from a right wing spectrum. For being like normal, that goes from let's say we just don't want to have violence, and we want to take care of German citizens first. To we don't like any outsiders at all, and everyone has to leave. That is not a biological German and stuff like that. So there's definitely presence there, but it's just like a minority, the same as you have it in the left wing parties. Let's say like we care about all people on the world, and then there's also like the people that are threatening others with death, for example. It's like the contrast there. I hope I could explain your question with that.
Yeah. So, what do you think it means to be German? Because I think, and I want to explain my question a little bit. Is like in America, um, anybody can be American. You don't have to have white skin.
Mm,
But like in
mm,
Europe, and I think in a lot of other countries, they're going to have a reckoning where it's like they've been, ethno, kind of like individually ethnic for such a long time. And I know Germany is it's a It's not so simple in that way. And you're an example of this as well. But at some point, when you have people who do not look like you kind of at all, religious
Yeah.
wise or language, it's a hard thing to like imagine or manage that integration. So, what do you think? First off, what do you think it means to be German? I suppose, like, what is that identity?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. That could also be connected to my explanation before. But for me, what it means to be German is like assimilate the culture, basically. If I go somewhere, I mean, like I'm also an outsider, you could say, and I have a German pass and Polish pass, as it seems that I just figured out recently while I was um re like how you say that
Like reapplying for
uh,
like a visa or something, or I don't know
no,
how
no,
it
not
works.
reapplying, but that's just basically like when your current ID card is out
Oh,
of date, so you have
renewing,
to.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
renewing a driver's
So
license, yeah. So you're like dual
yeah,
citizenship, kind of almost maybe.
so they informed me that since birth I automatically, because I was born in Poland, I have the Polish one. So it's information I just recently got. So basically, like I have only in paper German one. You know, I also identify as German. You could say because I spent like I say over 3 decades here in Germany, so I basically know the culture very well. And yeah, it's the thing that I experienced. So I still have connections to Poland, but like I'd say for me, it's like assimilating culture. So learning the language, um, getting getting in touch with the rules. Following the rules. You don't have to like the culture, but don't trash it. You know, just if you like the culture, we have like something here in North Rhine-Westphalia, which is like the west part of Germany. We have Carnival, where a lot of people are dressing up. And that this is part of German culture, for example, or Christmas even, because Germany is like traditionally a Christian country. So um, yeah, if you celebrate events like this, that's kind of falls under the category of assimilation, as an outsider. And yeah, like I say, you don't have to put, like in particular follow this, but don't trash it and follow the rules. Be a good citizen. Go to work, pay your taxes, be a contributor to your society. To your community, on the first hand. And yeah,
Oh, it sounds like
that's my
we're
point of view.
it's yeah, it sounds like an ideal citizen almost. I guess.
Well, you could say,
Why do you
yeah.
think that breaks down, I suppose then?
Why the idea, like I explained, is breaking down in the in
Yeah,
the
like
in the view
why,
in the
people are
society.
immigrating to Germany, due to like what, like, the conflict in Syria and all these different kind of like Middle Eastern crises, and they're taking in these like, refugees and such, and it seems to cause a
Mhm.
lot of political unrest and people are failing to assimilate. I guess how do you explain that?
That's pretty easy because most of those migrants, let's call them, are not particularly from war-ridden countries. So you have to differentiate first of all. There are those who seek asylum, that are really fleeing, and those who come here just because of the social system. And the majority since 2015 here in Germany who came here, it is a huge increase of mass immigration into Europe and especially into Germany, Sweden, um, Norwegian, um, is because of the social system. So those people are first of all not coming from war-ridden countries. They come from Morocco, Tunisia, other parts, um, like parts of Africa that are not currently war-ridden. So they come here because of the social system, and those are mostly men. So there is like it's like a strange phenomenon because if you're fleeing from a country, you expect to be like a majority of those fled people be children and females, right? Because it is what it is. If something, if there is war or there's a catastrophe, the first thing you're gonna do, this intrinsic instinct, is gonna save children and women, right?
Yeah,
But
if there's a war, who's doing the fighting if the men are going to Germany, right?
exactly, yeah, right. So why is it that the only men coming with boats here, or coming over the borders, that is majority like um, men in the age of middle 20s, coming here, and they're highly aggressive. They don't want to work, and like I said, they don't come from war-ridden countries, first of all. And if so, why is it that they pass three, four, five countries in order to go to Germany instead of going to the neighbor country that is also giving them shelter and asylum, or could provide that, you know? And the answer is simple: because they don't have a good social system. That means, for example, if they really flee from like Syria, or Palestine, or wherever, they could go to the neighboring countries, but only as long stay there only as long as the war is ongoing in the original country. So that means if the war is over, they have to go back, and they don't want that.
So it sounds like you're making the argument that they come over and they're like a drain on the system. Like they're kind of like selecting from among the options of like where I could go to live an easy life, and I'm going to pick Germany.
Exactly.
There's like an element of like being taken advantage of almost.
Exactly, yes. And I call them economic migrants, or that's what they're called here. And the thing is that the left wing will try to argue or explain their situation, which is like, yeah, because they were living in poverty all their lives, or their country is war-ridden, which is, like I explained, not in most cases. And yeah, they always try to find like a loophole for them, or like a
Like an excuse of
like a back
why these things
yeah,
are
like a
this way.
backdoor, so why they are allowed to stay. And yeah, in that process we are breaking a lot of laws. We are risking a lot of criminality which comes along with that. And yeah, it's currently really hard.
Yeah, I looked
And
up.
for your
Hmm.
yeah, say.
Oh yeah, I looked up what you're talking about. It some like, these are like the Google deeper dive AI mode or whatever results, and it says for refugees that have been in Germany for 8 years, their unemployment is around 68%, which is astonishing. Um,
This is only the official numbers. The dark number is way higher.
what are the dark numbers?
The dark numbers are um, the numbers that are aside the official numbers,
Mm-hmm.
that are not tracked, because you have to consider that they trying to track, for the statistics,
Mm-hmm.
but obviously they cannot track everyone. So those statistics are already pretty concerning, But like I said, like the true numbers that cannot be tracked are way higher.
What do you think the true numbers are?
It depends on the demographic. For
Pick
example,
the worst one or what? Yeah, whatever you're gonna say.
like I said, people from not war-ridden countries that come here for economic reasons, Tunisians, Moroccans. I don't know if Afghanistan currently have another war going on. Um, those people would easily be above 85%. And the reason is simple, because this is also a thing that I currently experience, and I was questioning myself for a long time. Why are people allowing them to come here in the first place? And taking into account that the possibility is increasing for criminality, um, harassment, social system collapse, and everything that goes along with it. And the funny thing is that one of my former head of departments was telling, I had a like heated argument with her in the past. I'm
Yeah,
not working
yeah.
there anymore,
Oh, you don't work
and
with this person anymore?
I'm not working in this company anymore. It's a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
But basically, like um like the bottom line was, um she told me, who do you think is going to clean the toilets? Who do you think is going to clean the streets? Who do you think is going to cut the bushes and the trees, if we don't allow them to come here?
So she's
So you
making
have
the
to
like low skill labor argument, which is how it works in
exactly,
America. Like in America,
exactly,
to
yeah.
our understanding, because unemployment's pretty low, like foreign people that come to America, they're doing those jobs, and I've never had that argument made, at least in America, that like there is a higher rate of unemployment among them because social systems in America are terrible. Like if you don't work, you're
Mm,
dead. It's over for you.
yeah,
So
I
it's
know.
interesting that that would be the argument that I would probably make. But if the unemployment for Germany too, but if the unemployment is so high, they're clearly not doing those jobs either. So
And that's the irony about it, because she exposed her true intention behind being pro migration. So it's someone that cleans her ass, basically. But those young men that come here that have a high masculinity culture, they don't want to clean your toilet. They don't want to clean the streets or cut bushes, cut trees. Doing low low status labor. They don't want to do that. And that's why I'm saying like already official numbers are already like above 60. What was it? 60?
it was like 68, 64% for people that have been, for refugees that have been there
Yes.
for longer than 8 years, which is
Yes. And
insane to me.
exactly. It is insane. And when you have to consider that some of those refugees that living here in that period are sheltered in hotels, expensive hotels. Like the latest article I read, because this is also like a problem. You have to find those informations because obviously they're not shared in mainstream media. So those articles are so um how can I say that? If society would receive informations like that on a daily basis, there would be such a huge outrage. But they're covering up specifically, so you have to like really do the digging in the internet to find those things. And the latest stuff, which is also like covered up by facts, which is like the the statistic of a specific city, which is called Munich. I think you know Munich.
Yeah, it's a city
They
in
have like
Germany.
they have like 1,700 Afghans, male Afghans, and those Afghans costed in a 5-year period already, because of sheltering in expensive hotels and stuff like that. What was it? $50 billion.
Wow, 1,000 to shelter
Yeah,
a thousand
and
seven hundred people.
1,700
Are
people,
they in
something
a
like that.
golden
Yes,
hotel?
I have no
Are
idea.
there German citizens being paid to clean their toilets? That
I
sounds
have no.
that is a lot of
That
money.
sounds. That is a lot of money, yeah. And you wonder why there is no money um for personnel that takes care of the elderly, or personnel that is hired in hospitals, because we have really poor hospitalization system, really poor healthcare system, really poor pension system, or um, the institutions that take care of the elderly. It's the first they're employed first of all, and then they are paid really bad, and second of all they have to work like crazy, like workhorses. Like
Hmm.
imagine you have like a 12-hour shift, you can rest for like 5 hours, and then you have to go to another 12-hour shift. That's basically life. I have a lot of friends that are working in those kind of fields, but it's terrible.
So on the
And
flip
don't let
side,
me don't let me start don't let me
yeah,
start with the schooling system. It's just terrible.
yeah. So on the flip side, the German citizens that are making all this work are, it sounds like they're putting themselves through hell to make it work. I want to go back to
Exactly.
something that
Yes.
she said, right? Where she's kind of making like, I mean, she's kind of making a racist argument almost, that's saying like, we
Absolutely.
need to
Absolutely.
exploit the labor of poor, uneducated, at least uneducated to our
Exactly.
system and our language. We need to exploit their labor because our
So we
companies
have a
and our
good life.
things do not
Yes.
want to pay them enough to do that. Like this is how America has funded itself, in perpetuity,
Yeah.
essentially is exploiting some race, some out race group, right? But it sounds like Germany hasn't figured out how to be effectively racist as America because you guys aren't exploiting these people. You're getting exploited. It sounds like the argument that you're making.
Yeah. It's funny, right? Because it's Like first of all, when I heard that, everything made sense to me. You know, those people. She also goes on rallies against Nazis and right wing politics and stuff like that. So she's standing in those protests, you know, against right wing politics and people that voting for right parties. And when she told me that everything made sense, you know, those people that are so far from the reality because they live in their castles, they live in their because she's head of the department, like I said, they live in their good neighborhoods, you know, where they don't get in contact with that shit that goes going on in the epicenter of a huge city like Frankfurt, Munich, Cologne, Duisburg, you know, name it, Berlin, major shithole in my opinion. Um,
It's a
and those
major
people that
shithole.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Wow.
would not recommend to go to Berlin, like
To
seriously.
Berlin? Berlin is a
Yeah,
wow. Dang, Berlin is fallen,
Berlin.
man.
Yeah, Berlin is the biggest shithole. Like they just they escalated so hard with diversity and everything, and you have to consider you have on a daily basis situations where Muslims hunt Jews on the streets to beat them up with their belts. It's a daily basis. You have women that are not going outside anymore, you know, without company, and after like six, depending on the season, obviously because of nighttime cycle, day and night cycle, um, they're not going out at all. So you see, like at for example, in winter period, you see like starting at 6 p.m. You see only male um, migrants outside dealing with drugs. You know, all armed with knives, all are very aggressive, all trying to harass people. You know, stealing. It's crazy. Like you saw the shit in London. You know, we have the same shit here in Berlin. No
Okay.
joke.
Did
And
the do you know if Germany maybe the problem so it sounds like kind of what I'm hearing is that Germany really just suck at handling immigrants in a lot of ways because in America how we integrate refugees, at least, from the wars that we've been a part of, is that we usually take groups of people and we settle them in rural communities. So, like where I grew up, there was the one of the largest minority populations. Where I grew up was like 90, maybe even 98% white for the county. But the second largest minority group, I think after Hispanic, because how they do Hispanic and white in America, it's like you could be like both. Anybody could be Hispanic, but then your race is different. It's kind of confusing for the census thing. But the next biggest population is Asians who are Hmong, and these are people who came from, I believe, Laos after like the Vietnam War or whatever.
yeah.
So, and I lived in a town that was 10,000 people. So like
Mhm.
I think in this way, kind of it it seemed to like allow them to integrate easier. I mean, they were kind of more dispersed, I
Absolutely.
guess, across the
You
country.
never hear criminality of Asian people because hold on a minute, you have to differentiate here in Germany Asian people too. I come to it in a second,
Hmm.
but usually like um, Far Eastern Asians, you know, Koreans, Vietnamese, Filipinos, Chinese, Japanese, you never hear any extraordinary crime of them of this demographic, never. And Düsseldorf, which is basically like the that has the highest density of Asian people in all of Germany, German cities, is one of the best cities here in Germany
How do you?
when it comes to migrants.
So that's an example of a place that is dominated by, a non-dominant race, right? A minority race, but they're like, are they? What do you know what the ratio is of them in Dusseldorf?
Not by heart,
But
unfortunately.
that's where
No.
most of them are located, right? And they seem to be doing
Yeah,
okay. So what do you? I,
I'm only going to Düsseldorf most of my time with the friends, you know, to go there on like
to
food sprees or something.
to the massage parlors, right?
Yeah, that too.
But like I have an idea, but I want to like, why do you think there is a difference there, right? The Asian immigrants, they don't commit crime. They seem to keep to themselves and they seem to do quite well. And then you have these like generally Muslim culture immigrants, and they seem to just struggle so hard in these systems. How do you kind of square that, I suppose?
Mm, okay, I'm gonna answer that. Mm, Let me just go back to the thing that I mentioned that I'm gonna answer
Mm-hmm.
in a second. That was the differentiation of Asian people, because it's a funny thing that I wanted to point out. In German media, Middle Eastern people also considered Asian people. So what they do try to do is put those demographic with the other real Asian, like Russians, Mongolians, Indians, and everything else together to like spread the statistics to make it seem like they're not responsible for a lot of crimes. That's just the side note I wanted to add.
Oh, so they're broadening the demographic to dilute the
Exactly.
harm of
Exactly.
this other
Yes.
particular
Yes.
demographic by putting like yeah,
Yes.
okay.
So they're calling them Asian men now instead of Afghans. When they are committing a crime, they're calling them Asian men. So it's so the society perceives it in a different way. And yeah, to the latest question of yours, why do I think is basically because the Muslim mostly Muslim-oriented countries or people that are coming from Muslim-oriented countries have no respect for our culture. That is like clear as day. Like there's so many examples of imams in the mosques, that are telling telling the people that pray there what kind of bad people we are. We are third class citizens. The women are third class citizens, European women considered, and they basically preach them to conquer with the Islamic religion the European countries. It's like clear as day. You have so many examples. Like this is all just only one. Like I said, you go to someone and immediately is aggressive. You know, like even if you bump into him, which is not something that you did on purpose, is gonna immediately escalate to the point where he takes out a knife and tries to attack you with it. It's really like that. I'm not even exaggerating.
Have you had this
You
happen
know.
to you?
Um, I mean, I'm a really how can I say that? I do a lot of gym exercises, so I'm
You're
pretty
imposing.
much,
They wouldn't pull a knife
yeah.
on you because your abs would break the
They wouldn't.
blade.
Yeah, the thing is they are cowards.
Hmm.
They're only strong groups, and they like when I go through like we call them Talahunds,
Mm-hmm.
which is like a trend term for young aggressive migrants that wear like fake Gucci caps, fake Gucci shirts, and like a shoulder bag from Louis Vuitton, whatever, and then just like being aggressive and do shadow boxing and shit like that. Like it's a really weird trend with those kids, and they call themselves Talahuns. So when I see those wannabe men, I'm just go right through them because I don't fear them. For I like I said, I'm coming from a Polish culture because it's a little bit different. The most of the German people here, that are like um are very very strict with the rules, and don't do any, like not even look at you in a bad way or something. They're like those are in a majority the prey for them, because they look for weak people, obviously. you know they look for weak women, they can jump with multiple men, or they try to steal from you when you're an old person. That happens very like this is a thing that increased since 2015. Attack on old people, attack on underage women, you know harassment in schools on native Germans, because they're not Muslims and shit like that. Harassing the girls in schools for not wearing a burqa, you know, or putting makeup on their face. And I'm not even exaggerating. This is like really daily base stuff like that. And this is because they're coming from a different culture. They're coming from a Muslim culture, which is, in my opinion, it's like a textbook for conquering other countries and other beliefs.
Do you think Muslim
Nothing else.
culture and German culture are compatible?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah,
How?
I'm
If,
getting
if
this
they want
theme.
if
Yeah,
they want
right.
to
I mean,
introduce,
they're attacking weak women, they're attacking weak men, they're attacking weak countries, right?
I mean, if you Islam is predominantly Sharia law, right?
Yeah, I think
And
what
if
a
you
lot of
read, if
Muslims support that. I don't know what the ratio is. I remember seeing a statistic a long time ago about
mm,
it, but generally, yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah,
Sharia law is pretty kind of dicey when it comes to some things in terms of my own kind of morality.
and Sharia law says things like an eye for an eye. So basically, if you go and you are in a fight with someone and you defend yourself but accidentally hit his eye and he cannot see, they're gonna poke out your eye for the same reason. That is one 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 aspect of Sharia law. It's called
Isn't
an eye
that
for an eye,
I'm,
literally.
that's also well, that's also a quote from the Bible, isn't it?
Yeah, but you
Isn't
have
that
to
what
consider
Jesus
that
said
the
to
Bible was
justify hurting somebody else that hurt? He was explaining something new, I think.
yeah, but we don't have it as a law. You know, that's the difference. And of
So
course,
like,
the Bible was not different than the Quran. The Bible was not the Bible was and the I don't know the book of the Buddhism,
I
but
don't know if
every
they have a
religion before it
book.
was
I'm not too sure on that one.
I don't know either. But like I said, like or their belief, you know,
Mm-hmm.
every religion before it was reformed, like Christianity, was absolutely equal to Quran in terms of violence. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that's
If you
kind
read
of what
if
they.
you read the
Yeah,
Old Testament of Christianity, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it got reformed because a lot of people stood up against it, you know. So they made it like, okay, we need to think about a different way to present Christianity because people are fleeing literally from the churches. That's what they did. They reformed it in the hopes that people start coming back again to the belief.
yeah. There's a little bit more of I would use the term cherry picking, but that's not exactly it. But what parts of the Bible they incorporate into like modern theology or modern doctrine of like good behavior, right? I mean,
Yeah,
Catholicism is
yeah,
kind of the closest that we get to like an equivalent of like Sharia law kind of thing. But even within Catholicism, at least there's a lot of generally internally consistent, non-contradictory morality, whether it's agreed upon or not. Being good or bad, that's something else. But in Sharia law, it seems more. I know very little about it, but it seems very vengeance based.
yeah. I mean, they allow the wedding of underage women, you know, with older men. That's also part of Sharia law. It's pretty normal for them. It's allowed according to Sharia law, and the male should um, should train his spouse, his female spouse, and correct her if she's in the wrong. You know, also by force, stuff like that. So it's a very violent um, manual, you could say, of how to navigate in society.
Yeah, I believe there's lots of
You know,
advocation
I'm
of stoning women because of XYZ kind of things, right? It almost seems like Sharia law is what
yeah,
is Old Testament equivalent, right? Where it's like very
yes,
much a
yes,
religion based on how to respond to acts of provocation or aggression, right? Or
yes.
culturally inappropriate behaviors, and they never had that kind of renaissance of like, hey, we need to edit some of this shit out because this is not a way to have a functioning society. We can't just be like literally stoning half of our population because they looked at their cousin the wrong way. That just doesn't really work out, does it?
No.
And that's kind of what
So
it
in my
seems like
opinion,
Sharia law kind of has. But yeah,
in my opinion, no religion should be in any way involved in a justistical system, you know.
What
No
kind of
religion.
system?
Judistical?
Oh, you mean like laws? Oh, so you're
Yeah,
talking about separation of church and state.
yes, because that doesn't make any sense, you know, because it's obviously biased in some way. And like I said, we in Germany we have normal judistical law, and we also are not allowed to have any rules of the Bible, you know, of or Christianity be implemented in our current law system. So why should we implement Sharia law? Because they demand it, you know, like in England, I heard that they already have multiple Sharia law courts, you know, Sharia law institutions, you know, so they're already spreading this. I don't know if it's currently I believe it's currently only um, covers up the Muslim part, the Muslim demographic, you know. So
No,
if
it doesn't
there's
apply to
something,
non-Muslims right now, but you're kind of thinking that eventually it's going
yeah,
to be
exactly,
broad-based.
yeah.
Interesting.
I
Okay.
mean, they're trying to go into politics. You know, they're trying to really force a religion to be the how can I say that? To be like the like for example the Ten Commandments. You know, just
Yeah, we have that in
to live,
America.
yeah,
Some
to
states are
live by
forcing the
it.
Ten Commandments all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I get that. If this is where you are now, what were what was your party affiliation before kind of getting dragged over to the AFD, I guess?
Um, Before it was like I said, Christian Social Union, the CSU or SPD, and because the funny thing is, 25 years ago they were preaching the same stuff that the AFD is preaching now. There are literally videos of Angela Merkel saying that multiculturalism is not working. We should close all borders. You can find it in the internet even.
And she was saying when she said
Um,
close up borders, she was talking borders to Austria, right?
I don't know about that. No,
Is there
but
is
you get
there
my
is
point, right?
the Germans hate Austrians?
Nah, we don't hate. Yeah, I know where you're going with it, but nah, we are pretty. I mean, like probably the old generations, you know, they're still like I don't know, obsessed with it, but the new generations really don't give a fuck about it, you know.
Patch things up a long time.
Yeah, I mean, why should I? Oh, I mean, I also identify myself as a German. Why should I consider or be bothered with something that happened like 3 generations before, you know, and I didn't have any influence in it. Like it's stupid. Like also like the question about reparations to pay for other people. Like why should I pay for someone's reparations? You know,
Yeah, Austria should pay
like this
to
is
Germany for reparations for Hitler, right?
yeah, so something like that. I mean, like, come on, like this happened already 80 years ago. You know, stuff like that. Just make another agreement. Just try to help each other. Why demanding force like, and then coming up with stupid arguments. You know, stupid old arguments. Of course, you're gonna in, rally people up with this. You know.
Yeah. So what do you want what's the AFD gonna do that solves this problem for you? What is the things that they're kind of pointing to? Is this just like we just push them all out or force some type of like you got to do this to get this kind of benefit extortion kind of thing?
So the misconception of most of the people that are against the AFD is that the AFD is trying to get rid of all migrants, you know, like also the ones that have a German past and stuff like that. But no, they mainly want to get rid of those people that are currently here. It's like something around 300, 400,000 people that are illegally here without any papers, without any visa, you know, and are basically not allowed to be here in this country. So that's what they want to do, and I think it's fair because it's against the law. So if we already skipping law because of feelings, this is basically the starting line for a downward spiral that is going to follow
What
or
if?
awaits us.
Okay, I have a clarifying question. So what if there's one that's there legally, but he's working like full time job?
You know,
Because it
I
seemed like
had a
you're
situation.
right.
I had a situation because I live next to an kebab store,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a guy from India, and he was working there. He was a nice guy, you know. He had of course trouble with the language, but he was always driving his bicycle, you know, and he was going to work there. Worked, sold kebabs, you know, and stuff like that. And you could talk with him. He was never involved in any criminality, you know, and stuff like that. And then they remigrated him outside back to his country, you know, because he didn't have any papers. And then I was like thinking, uh, like I was thinking like this is actually stupid because if you already have an individual who is working, why would you why would you send him back? Because he's working in a field that already has like no one wants to do. You know, no one wants to be like a low status kebabs seller. Like, let's be honest. And so why are you getting rid of people like that? And that was before the AFD. That was like over 10 years ago when they sent him back to his original country. You know, so it was already the the old parties that are currently leading are responsible for that kind of stupid logic behind it. In my opinion, I think those people who are working, who are integrating, who are assimilating, let them stay. Obviously, yeah, I mean, if they don't qualify for direct citizenship, just extend their period. You know, at least that's at least the thing we can do. Because why get rid of people that are trying to be a part of the society? That doesn't make any sense to me.
So kind of expanding the opportunity. If you're working, if you're contributing, then the
Yes.
pathway should be easy to
Yeah.
becoming like a should they become can they become German citizens? Is that like is there a pathway even for that? I have no idea.
Mm,
Like can they ever become citizens? Or are they always going to be some lower class type of like assignment within German society, I suppose.
yeah. I don't really know what you have to do to in order to become a citizenship because I didn't try to look up into it. To be fair, um, but like I said, just extend their allowance to stay here, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I mean it's and the American equivalent is we're actually rounding up and finding the people who are working exclusively and sending them out, which is backwards to me, right? You would think you would want to find people
Yeah,
who are,
absolutely.
just committing crimes,
That's so
but
stupid.
the Trump administration
Exactly.
is
Yes.
exclusively going after ones that are working, it seems like, and sending them away, which is pretty bad for the economy and pretty bad just in general because those are the ones who are doing the most intensive and hard work. So, it's in America they
With
ain't
what
doing
with
any
what
better
excuse
either.
then?
What was that?
Where Bolly with what excuse is he going after them?
Um, Pretty just lazy racial stereotypes that are tend to be true sometimes of like the excuse is just getting rid of illegals, right? So like they're just rounding up anyone that they can find. So they're going to the obvious places of like farms,
Ah, okay.
outside,
Yeah.
like Home Depots and things like that. Because sometimes day
Mm,
laborers will hang out because they'll see somebody who's buying a bunch of stuff and be like, hey, you
yeah.
need us to like help you put up the wall, the drywall, whatever. Like you give us like $100 for the day or whatever. We'll help you do stuff all day or whatever. So like just going to those
Yeah.
obvious places, and it's like you're going to a place where people are looking to do jobs, you know, you know, and even some of these jobs obviously are under the table because it's a job of like a day. Some guy's paying you $100 to do something. That's fine under the American legal system. You can make up to $2,000 from any individual source before any taxes need to get involved. So if you
Yeah.
have a short-term type of arrangement like that with somebody, you can make that much money. It's fine. So they're not breaking any laws by being employed by somebody for a single day. But you know, the Trump administration is not very well thought out when it comes to like who they're targeting. They're just going after everybody because they're just looking at a numbers game. So it sounds
Okay.
like you've kind of had a lot of debates about this with people in your life. You know, who's your biggest antagonist when it comes to like trying to get your political message across?
What do you mean by that? Who's my biggest antagonist from political parties perspective,
No,
or?
like in your life, like it sounds like you have a lot of conversations about this. Like, is there somebody that you kind of butt heads with? I guess.
Yeah, all the time with my friend circle.
Oh,
I
in your
mean,
friends, sounds like your friends disagree with you.
mm, yeah, I mean they're not so much into politics, but they're also not like hard left wings. I mean, it's not like they're bumping really hard heads with them. It's more like um, I think most of them still think that, or they have the perception, the mainstream perception that the AfD is really a hardlining right wing um, political party, which I disagree. I mean, they have individuals in the party that are doing politics and voters, of course, that are leaning very, very extreme right. No doubt about it. But like I said, that goes on both ways. The left has also those kind of people and described you what their intentions are. I mean, Antifa is basically like the equivalent of an like an uh, far right Nazi protest, you know, with
Antifa,
Antifa, absolutely.
Antifa or Nazi?
Antifa,
Excuse me.
no, sorry, not the equivalent. I mean, like basically the on the other side of the spectrum are like what the far right is for the right spectrum, you know, the hardliners. That's what I wanted to say.
Oh, okay. So
They are the
that's
hardliners of the left
the
wing.
hard left
Yes,
side. Or,
yes, and this
well,
is exactly yes.
okay. I mean, they're. I don't really know what Antifa believes in. They're very reactionary. I mean, I don't think they really exist now in America anyway, but they were very reactionary to a lot of things that were kind of going on, and they kind of
Oh,
wasted all their
Here in
social
Germany,
capital. They exist in
we
Germany.
all and just all over Europe, we have only problems with them. And
Interesting.
those are the ones, and those are the ones that are breaking shit down on a daily basis, man. If something goes like just remotely, you know, in a racism field, which is like probably propaganda, that they're riling up and it's starting to set cars on fire, you know, shredding shops, you know, and just fighting the police and shit like that. Yeah, it's pretty normal. The Antifa, and they're trying to kill right-oriented conservative politicians as well. Multiple murder attempts also.
Hmm.
But this is a thing that you don't read in the mainstream media. That's why I was asking in the beginning of the interview. I don't know what the narrative is that you're experiencing. You know, when you search for
Yeah. I
politics
mean,
and that everything comes along in Europe or specifically in Germany. But yeah,
I
like
mean,
I said, you have to do the digging. But holy shit,
yeah,
if you find something.
I haven't spent too much attention to it. I mean, once in a while I'll see like a report thing online, and it always seems like it's very conveniently written to kind of cause animosity, I guess, ultimately, one way or the other. So I tend to not read too much into those things, but it seems like there's a lot of tension going on specifically. I was kind of going through the AFD policy things. I kind of wanted to kind of almost shotgun down some things that I saw in their policies and see kind of where you landed on them. So one of them I saw was reinstate compulsory military service. So you have to be, if you're a male through the age of like I think it was 1824, you have to have some amount of time in the military. Is that something you support with that?
Um, I think the idea is helpful for the character because I think military service forms character. It is what a lot of young males in our society lack, you know.
What about
So
you?
yeah,
Do
I
you want
would
to join the
say
military? Do you want to have forced military
no.
service?
I mean, yeah. forced military service, we call it Wehrpflicht, you know. So that means like you do your 1 or 2 years, you know, and then you are ready in terms of like I don't know if your country is getting attacked or something like that, you know. So they can call you and say, yeah, we need you. So
Do you think
it's like
Germans have that? Is that a reality, a real concern for Germany to be attacked?
nah, we are so fucked up. No one wants to. We don't have
No, there's
anything
nothing.
except
There's
for
nothing left to conquer in Germany.
we have fucking we have debts. We have so much debts. We have fucking migrants that don't want to work. Don't have any resources. Why do you want to invade Germany for what? To be an social victim yourself or what?
They're gonna invade and
Or to become a social case.
take over the social services. That's what they're gonna invade for. Okay, okay. What about okay? So this one I thought was funny. Salute unborn and newborn children. Okay, so they don't actually mean literally salute them like they have a bunch of military parade for every baby. But what it means is that they want to have forced anti-abortion counseling for every woman that's seeking an abortion, and then promote adoption alternatives. What do you think about that?
I think this is the result of what's currently going on with abortions. You know,
Why?
like
Is abortion good or
before
bad?
before. I think it's bad
Why?
because for me, I think it's because it's a very mature decision to have kids in the first place, you know, and this is not something that you should do easily, you know. In the worst case, even consider abortion because we're talking about human life here.
So
And
when does life begin?
that is a good question, actually. Yeah, when does life begin? There's different different descriptions of explanations about it, you know, like if the heartbeat starts, you know, or if the fetus is formed or whatever.
Do you
But I think
have
like
do you land there somewhere?
I said, I want to say before I answer the question is like I wanted to add some additional information, you know. Maybe that helps explain my viewpoint on
Mm-hmm.
this. Like we are today in a society where abortion just became as casual as ordering a cup of coffee.
You think a woman that
You
goes
know?
in to get an abortion is like, oh yeah, I want the vanilla macchiato scented incest burnt while you
Yes.
know the abortion happens.
Yeah. I'm not even joking. That's what I think.
So
I mean,
like
like
so
you
the
have
women in
Australia.
Germany are such callous, heartless demons. They're like just like yeah, I want the vanilla macchiato, maybe a matcha blend, you know, while I'm while I'm getting the abortion. I mean, wow. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
Germany is unconquerable if that's the case. Those women are
Then
vile.
sipping the
That's
coffee,
a
you know, taking a selfie
demonic
while.
position to have.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So
But
okay.
the thing is, you have women that are literally parading that they had like multiple abortions and they feel good about themselves, and I cannot think otherwise than this poor individual, you know, that doesn't even had the chance to come into life, you know, like isn't it like let me ask you, isn't it kind of a perversion to think that way? Like in Australia, you get like $4,000, you know, when you get an abortion.
You get paid to have an
Uh,
abortion in Australia?
yeah, you get paid if you have an unwanted unwanted pregnancy and you want to um, abort it. I mean, and this is the problem because people always say, yeah, what happens if the girl was raped and stuff? Does she doesn't have a right to abort? Yeah, I mean, it's a really tricky situation, you know. I
It
mean, like you
looks
shouldn't
like
have
they get
abortion.
paid if they have a late term abortion due to medical complications or if the child's stillborn. Um, but it does not
No,
seem
they
that
call it
people get
stillborn.
paid
Yeah,
for
they
an
call it
abortion.
stillborn.
What?
Trust me, it is more perverse than you think.
So they're even more fucking
They
Australians that
literally,
they're like
they,
getting pregnant to get paid for. That's their full time job is to get pregnant and have an abortion. You're saying?
yeah, they try to make money out of it. It's simple. It is really as it is. And they
Oh
call it
wait, do you
afterwards
watch this guy on
one
YouTube,
baby.
Adam Stokes?
Probably not. No.
Oh, because he's a guy who's claiming you can get 22K for an abortion in Australia.
I don't know about 22K, but you get money definitely. Yeah, I read
Um,
about it.
a quick Google search says what you're saying is completely incorrect. And
Yeah, because Google
and
search is powered by AI, and you have to be
what the
very
my
careful with
phone
AI
somehow
because
turned
AI.
on.
You have to be very careful with AI because it's biased, obviously.
I mean, it links to the source talking about.
It links to sources, yeah, of course. But like I said, I can I could go to sources that also um,
It's a
show that
one-off
it is like
payment for people who experience a stillbirth. Do you know what that is?
if the baby is already dead in the mother's belly.
Yeah, well, should we punish women
Or
that
dies.
if the child naturally dies in a woman,
Mhm.
because not all so here's the thing about people who are against abortion that make no sense to me. Because
Okay.
people who are anti-abortion generally reveal that they have no sense of female biology. The problem is that not all fertilized eggs ever even implant in the uterus, and then
Mhm.
not all of those that even implant ever develop into viable offspring. So naturally, through our own biology, we are we are having abortions occur. These just happen
Okay.
because our bodies
Mhm.
reject them or because they're a threat to the mom. You know, sometimes we have these things that come up, right? So
Yeah, I see
what I
where
don't
you're going with it.
understand is that if like it comes down to like when do you define life? And I like for a long time, historically speaking, I think up until like the 60s, we define life as like the heartbeat. The problem is that you can come back from your heart not working, but you can't come back from your brain not working. You're just dead. So generally, we believe in I think a developed framework for abortion theory or like life theory is like if your brain dies, you're dead. So like if you would
Yeah.
make an argument regarding abortion, you would have to be when there is like brain development activity. I don't know
Mhm.
when that happens. That might be like somewhere in the second
Yeah,
trimester. Who
I
knows?
understand. No, I agree with you. I'm just saying, like, don't you see that there's a trend that is
What is
coming
the
that like
trend?
that they don't take responsibility and just having babies, and they don't at the end they don't want to have babies with someone, and that they're abortioning it out of
Who got the women pregnant? Did the women have lesbian sex and get pregnant?
you mean like it's what do you mean exactly? Like
It
it's a
takes a
forced
guy to
or
get a woman pregnant. Why is it the woman's responsibility to deal with the aftermath? That seems if we're going back to this
it takes
like
two people.
these men
It
who
takes
are
two
not
people.
taking responsibility that are coming in Germany and siphoning off things. How is that not the same as men who are being fail fathers, getting women pregnant and then not doing anything to contribute to that situation? Because if the woman gets pregnant, the man didn't wear a condom,
Mhm.
right? Guys don't want to wear condoms.
Yeah, but
Condoms fucking suck. I don't want to wear a condom. I want her to be on birth control. So
mhm.
like it takes two to tango. Why does the woman get all the blame for the abortion and not the man in the situation?
I'm not saying that. I'm sorry. I'm not generalizing here.
Yeah.
Then
Well, I mean, you only
maybe I
spoke about women, I guess. So I mean, that's why I'm asking, right? Is like, where is the man's responsibility here?
yeah, okay, I see. Then I have to apologize because maybe I went into the wrong direction. I didn't want to generalize. I was just pointing out a part of the problem, which is like there are some women that don't take responsibility when they are getting pregnant. That's what I mean. Of course, it takes two people to get pregnant, but some people like getting pregnant and then just aborting it, because why not?
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be, I think,
Exactly.
there's always going to
This is
be that
this is
subset
what.
of society that is like a careless, vile, non thing that we ascribe to. But I mean, I don't think that that's like a general trend or a general uptick. I think
No, no,
most
no.
people, it's like a pretty difficult experience to like wrestle with. Like,
I just wanted to criticize this part of it, you know. I didn't want to generalize. The same way I would criticize men that are making women pregnant on purpose and then just leaving, you know, without taking the without um how do you say it without responsibility.
yeah, kind of like deadbeat
So
dads who like take off.
like I said, it's a difficult question. In general, I wouldn't say to ban it completely because it's necessary in some cases like rape, you know. If the woman doesn't want it, she probably not going to be a good mother to this child because it was conceived in a very violent way. And
Yeah, we should actually. I think we should develop technology where we implant the child in the rapist, and it should have to inflate in his penis and kill him. I think that's
yeah,
what we should do. Would you fund
you
that
could also
research?
go a step further. You could also go a step further and then just orient it on the alien movies and have a chest burster, you know, or
Yeah, we
something
should
like
do
that.
that, and then that child will need to be deported then to like a Muslim country. It sounds like.
Jesus.
Okay. Okay, we're at about an hour here. I don't know how much longer we want to go. I think there's some interesting
I'm cool.
things to kind of hear about what's going on in in Germany. It's funny to kind of read through this. The thing that I find most hilarious when I read through this like policies by the AFD is that this would come off as woke in America, for the most part, because there is a lot of labor arguments about like
Mm.
exploitation and corporate exploitation and things like that, and almost all of those would be like non-starters in America because that would sound too woke. Now there are some parts that do sound, more right-leaning, on par with America in terms of, like gender research and all this other kind of stuff that they want to like do away with, which is uh, kind of funny to me because the idea to like not fund a particular thing just because you find it silly or whatever is, I mean, it's kind of, I mean, that's because it's a choices to make, but at the end of the day, it's like it's a cultural component of something, right? Like how gender is defined and understood in a culture is something that will constantly shift depending on the financial demographics of it, right? Like women for the longest time, were just baby machines, and they kind of still are for the most part, right? And there's this
Yeah.
weird, there's this interesting dilemma I see within this policy thing of like, we want women to be having more babies in Germany. That's what the AFD seems like they want. But at the same time, they also want to like not punish women for having children. But in a capitalist system, that really can't be, because if you have a child, you have to take time off of work. You have to raise a child. That is labor. That's labor that gets unpaid for to the mother generally. I mean, there's probably services for it, but that maintains the capitalist system. So the thing that I find hilarious is that they are both at times criticizing the system that exists, but then also like, well, we have to find some workaround about it because we just can't deal with the capitalism problem, right? And that kind of gets back to like, why would you even take in these people in the first place, right? Because they're clearly not taking them in, from the goodness of their hearts. Like there's some kind of motive, and the motive that I generally hear from the people on high in terms of talking about why immigration to these European countries exists is because the demographic problem, right? They need to bring in bodies to replace other bodies, but it's just not working properly because they can't integrate them properly, right? So
Really? Yeah.
it at the end of the day, it comes down to demographics. They don't want to become eclipsed by India and China. So that's why I think the abortion argument is very deceptive, because it falls in line with exactly what they want, is they want to have people to have forced births, which is
Yeah.
on par as vile as probably the worst parts of Sharia law to me. I could not imagine being a woman and ever being told that I have to have a child because of I didn't pass some metric set by probably a fucking guy. I mean, in America, we had it come down to like, I think it was, I don't even know if there was any women on the decision making. Maybe there was the one on the Supreme Court or whatever it was. I guess there's a few now, but there was I forget how that came down, and it was like how many Like women, how many guys make this decision? Oh no, it was in the state of Wisconsin, right? So I didn't think we had
Mhm.
any um, people on it for abortions, and it's just like how can you make a decision for somebody that you don't even have an experience of? You know, like
Yeah.
in the same way that like we should have representation of people of classes. Like
Mhm.
like I don't want to hear about a rich person telling a poor person that they need to pass certain metrics to get certain like benefits, because if they haven't dealt with it, they have no idea how hard it is, because they always think, oh, free money, it must be so easy to do these things. And it's like, okay, go do it, go be born in that life and go do it. And they can't, because their life has been so privileged. They have an assistant do it for them. So
That's why politics never work, because those people cannot relate to the
yeah,
actual
that's why we
situation
need the
going on.
lottery system. You find out, oh, today I'm the president.
Yeah, everyone gets a chance, right?
Yeah. That's kind of a silly one. Um,
Everyone can ride on a roller coaster for one day.
exactly. There we go. That's the new solution. Everyone gets to ride the roller coaster,
Yeah.
unless you're not a citizen and you're not employed, then you don't get put in the. That's the incentive. If you are working a job, then you're in the raffle every day.
The reason is that's why you have democracy, right? Because mostly like you have votings that are done by normal people.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. One of the things I saw in the AFD is that they wanted to have the citizens vote on laws passed by the government, or legislature passed by the government or something. That sounds like that would
No, no,
be
no.
the
By the people.
slowest process I could
By
imagine.
the people. They want
Yeah.
to give they want to give include the people's votes more
What are you going to
into
be
passing
voting
laws.
every month? That sounds exhausting.
Mm, no, not every month, just for crucial things.
Well, see, that's
You
the
know,
problem,
like
right? Is like, what? Is,
for
where do we?
example, like in Netherlands, they had like
Oh,
passed the
Netherlands is
law for.
tiny.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just giving an example, like
Yeah,
for what could include that. You know, for
yeah.
example, they had
I guess
the
my
voting
argument is if we have a citizenry, let's say half the citizens vote. How big is Germany? How many people?
around like 89 million,
89 million. What the
probably
fuck?
more.
Damn, I thought it was bigger. Okay, 89 million. Let's say 40 million people vote, and it takes them 30 minutes to vote, whatever. In America, that could vary. For me, it takes like 5 minutes. For some people, they got to wait in line and all sorts of
Mm,
stuff, or they got to drive farther to vote. So let's say it takes on average 30 minutes to vote. We have 40 million people who are spending 30 minutes to vote once a month. That
mm,
labor cost of that is economy destroying. The amount of time people would waste to vote
mm,
on laws and things. At least in my opinion, that sounds insane to me, to like have that level of, unless there's like a brain chip, we're all connected to Starlink, and it's like I pass my vote by just thinking about it. Um, like I like the idea of like broader based kind of like appeals to some um, like legislature, like you're saying, but
yeah.
I don't think, unless you guys have really good electronic voting systems that you can vote on your phone and it actually works, um, it just seems like a really hard thing to do. In America, voting is terrible, so um, I can't imagine a system that
Yeah.
makes it work right now, unfortunately.
I
But
agree with you. I think the idea, the overall general idea is good, but yeah, the execution is also a thing. I wouldn't know how they want to execute it,
yeah, there
or to
wasn't an
implement it.
explanation from what I read in there, unfortunately. Well, what would
So,
so it sounds like one of the solutions is kick out the people who aren't working. Um, what a,
kick at least the people out that are criminal, you know, and not illegal here in this country.
okay, kick out the criminals. I mean, what if, okay, so this is a question I come up with that comes up a
Hmm.
lot. I mean, I guess I don't really care about it either way, but there's like a big thing. It costs a lot of money to deport someone in America, so much so that
Oh yeah.
it would almost be cheaper. I think it is actually a lot cheaper to just put someone in prison for whatever their sentence would be and then release them rather than deport them. Like let's, and I it is so ridiculous, I think, Like it's like I think maybe over a million for a deportation and then or deportation, and then for prison costs like maybe like I don't know 50K a year or something for a single person. It's been a while since I looked up that number. So like you could put someone in prison for half a million for 10 years, or you could deport them for like over a million, but then that like bogs down the courts, and it creates so much more cost because of all these other things that kind of get onto that deportation process. So I guess like in that sense, if it came down to the economics, would you be in favor of putting people in German prisons if there were enough German prisons, as opposed to deporting them because if the cost was just too big?
For the ones that are here, probably the one with the jail. But the real question is what you're going to do once the prisons are full. And second of all, migration is an ongoing process. So let's say in the next 10 years, you cannot bring the argument with deportation and putting them into jail anymore because, like I said, probably the housing, of those incoming migrants for the next 10 years are gonna really hurt the economy. So, in my opinion, we need to make first a stop for immigration, and then try to deal with the ones that are here in the countries. And yeah, if that's the economically cheaper solution to bring to house them in prisons, let's say, then be it. Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because we also have to save money, obviously.
Yeah, yeah. I had a good idea for something, but I fell out of my brain. It's 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 an interesting kind of problem, I suppose. In that kind of getting out of prison. I don't know what it's like in Germany. In America, basically, it's like you're gonna wind back up in prison because there's like not really a lot of support. The support's pretty minimal. Um,
Yeah, but America is like a death sentence if you go into a prison, right? Because if you there are a lot of gangs in the prison, so you have to like seek help from one of those gangs. So you have to basically become a gang member, which increases your list of criminal activities.
possibly. I
Uh,
mean, in the
so it's like a
prisons
it's like a
and
downward spiral.
yeah,
Basically, once you go into an American prison, I think it's very
in
scary.
some.
I wouldn't like to be in a in a American prison because the movie Shot Caller
No, I haven't seen a movie called Shot Caller. What is
with the
that?
guy with the actor that plays Jaime Lannister in Game of Thrones.
Okay, he
It's
goes to
so
prison.
he goes to prison because he was driving drunk with his family a car, and then he hit someone in a car accident, and this person died. So he went to jail, and yeah, inside this jail, like I said, there are a lot of gangs dominating. So if you're new, either you show that you're tough or you're getting like exploited. So he ended up basically becoming a member of the White Power movement, So in order to survive in his prison, which
I
led to the which led to this to the total separation of his family,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Um, I don't know about prisons outside of Wisconsin. I've worked with a lot of people that have been in jails. I used to work at halfway houses, so I've seen a lot of people, probably
Mhm.
100 plus people that have come through the jail system and then prison system alike. And I don't
I
think that
never
occurs in the
experienced firsthand,
Wisconsin
so
ones. Yeah. I mean, I imagine those things do happen. I guess ultimately what I want to get back to, and I want to kind of focus on like on your experience. A lot of these things that you're telling me, you're kind of going to these like it it sounds like you're finding like the kind of worst examples of things and then drawing narrative themes to what you see kind of going on, but like when it comes back to like actual experiences, you know that doesn't seem like they occur as much for you. So you know why do you
yeah,
buy
because
this? Why do you what value do you get of indulging in these things? Because it just seems like they're upsetting.
mhm. Okay, I understand your question. So yeah, I don't have that much of first-hand experiences with that situations what's going on because fortunately I live in a small town here. We don't have a high percentage of migration here, It's very stable. It's like I don't know, in the last 30, 30 years or something, we had one um, um, criminal act which involved someone who was knifed. You know,
In the last 30 years?
so
Wow. It sounds like my hometown.
yeah. So it's really not a shady place here compared to the neighbor city Siegen. Um, and so I live close to Cologne, you could say.
Oh, okay. I know
Like
where you are. Yeah.
yeah,
The
like
west side of
80
Germany.
kilometers. Yeah, 80 kilometers next to Cologne. And yeah, like I said, fortunately, I live in a city that doesn't have that much of violence. You know, people go outside here also in the evenings. You know, and you see mostly German people here. You know, everything is mostly friendly. So yeah, I don't have much experience with those people that coming up to me and seeking stress. You know, but I have some when I go to the bigger cities, Cologne, Dortmund. You know, Bonn, and next to the fact that I only see migrants there, first of all, and there's also police driving 24/7. Um,
Wait, so just
yeah,
seeing
I
a
mean, like,
migrant as it sounds like, I mean, what you're saying, it sounds like you see the migrant and the hate gene activates and you're like must
no,
destroy.
no, 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 no. I'm saying like I see a lot of migrants there, and I see also when the police is involved there, a lot of crimes. You know, when someone is busted for
Oh,
attempted
so when
theft
you
or
see
something. You
cops
know,
in these places, they're dealing with a
yeah,
migrant.
yeah,
So this
exactly.
crazy. Okay,
That's
so
what I
you're
want to
you're
say.
giving me so like that is like a biasing thing, right? This is what you see,
Yeah, but you
right?
could you could say it's biased, you know.
Well, I mean biased in the sense of like these are your points of framework, right? Like the human brain is inclined to find patterns, even if the pattern is untrue, right? Like you could walk by a hole in the fence and you could always see a certain thing, and that would you could prelude or
But there are
assume that like it
statistics.
causes this, right? But like
Okay, yeah,
it's because of the limited viewpoint that you have, right? Is what I'm trying to get at. Like, you
yeah,
know,
but there are numbers for that backing me up. It's not like something that I conclude that I came up with myself, you know, in a while I was taking heroin or something, you know. So there's literally numbers that are made by the BKA that prove that there's a correlation between immigration increase and increase in violence, in harassment, you know, in sexual assault, everything. There's a correlation. It's not something that I see from 80 kilometers afar from my from outside of my house, you know, with the magnifying glass or something. Uh,
you're not using the telescope to scope out where the crime's
yeah,
happening and then writing it down in an Excel sheet.
yeah, and then I feel bad about it, you know.
Yeah, that would
Nah,
be too much
this is
voyeurism.
something that's happening. Like I say, I'm very fortunate that I don't live in those big cities that where the shit is happening every day. But if you can see it clearly if you go there every time I go there into the big cities, you see a lot of the drug trafficking in parks and shit. And like I said, the only real city that I'm going in North Rhine-Westphalia in my Bundesland is really Düsseldorf that I like.
So something I find interesting is that there is an implicit argument in kind of what you're saying, and it's the same thing in America too. And it always, I've never really tried to reconcile it because really, I've never complained about illegals committing crimes against my citizens or whatever. Like it's whatever. People commit crimes against people all the time. It doesn't really matter to me. The thing that I find interesting is that there seems to be an implicit argument that you are more it is okay to tolerate crimes of German on German, let's say the fucking Aryan on Aryan violence is okay. But the moment it is a
I
brown
didn't say
person
that.
doing the violence, that's when it becomes a problem. And that is
No,
something
I
I
didn't say
find
that.
strange.
But I didn't say that
Yeah.
that I tolerate Aryan on Aryan crime. I didn't say that at all.
But you never complained about it is the problem. And that's the thing that I find interesting is that when people make these arguments, they never complain about homegrown crime. It never enters their
because
vocabulary.
because you don't see it that much. There is crime definitely, but
You
like I
don't see
say,
it because it doesn't make the news, because it's not hot, right?
well, you also don't see the crimes of migrants. Like I said,
There
they're
are
covered
more
up.
German. Okay, I have to like explain statistics right now though. Like there are
Hmm.
more Germans than migrants. If there are 89
Hmm.
million Germans, but there's 300,000 migrants, it is an absolute fact that there is more crimes being committed by Germans in all ways possible than migrant
Depends
on
on
migrant
on the ratio.
violence. It doesn't
Depends
matter
on
on the
who
ratio.
depends on who's
So
leading in
but so then but that
demographically.
so then you're making the argument though that like a group of people is okay if the ratio of violence they commit is a certain number, right? What it comes down to. What I'm getting at is like there is a clear, obvious racial bias in who does what crime to who when it comes down to these conversations that I don't see recognized. That's the thing that always kind of gets me is weird. Is like there is never a discussion about a condemnation of the crime of a natural born citizen on another natural born citizen. It's always these illegals coming in and hurting our people, which is like this very strange kind of like paternalism over nothing. Like we don't
Like
own
if
our,
you have
you
if you
know,
have a native citizen that commits a crime, like a German, a true-born German, right? A biological German. He usually gets put to jail for, I don't know, the most stupid things, you know, and that's basically it. But
I mean, he
like
should
I
get
say,
put to jail, right?
you,
And it
you
wouldn't be a
don't
stupid thing, right?
But I never heard before that there is like an epidemic of knife attacks, you know, or
An
rapes or
epidemic
whatever.
is like
Even
a hot
before,
word.
even before, yeah, you
It,
can
like
say
what
it's a
I'm saying is
buzzword or
like those
whatever, you know.
those are words that are meant to excite your emotions that are so like do you know what the availability bias is or the availability heuristic? Like when I tell you when you think about like what do you planes or cars do what do you think you're more likely to die in, a plane or a car?
I don't know, maybe a car.
That is correct, but most people say a plane. And the reason most people say a plane is because when you think about accidents, plane accidents come into people's minds easier than car accidents because plane accidents are rare, so they make the news. The
Yeah.
reason migrant attacks make the news is because they sell.
But like I said, they don't make always the news.
Well, yeah,
Like
that
I
goes.
don't
So,
know
like, I mean, do you? I'm trying to
why would
like.
they try to
Can
why
you
would they
see how
cover
you're
up so
like in
many?
the matrix right now? Like you,
I'm
you are
always in the
encircling
matrix.
yourself in a bit like in this thing, right? Because like, oh, then there's like the dark statistics, right? So that there's a secret amount of crimes that are not being recorded,
Yes,
right? By the shadow government of Germany, who is secretly a cabal of these like people that wish to
it's not
destroy
shadow.
the
It's
German
not shadow.
people, right?
It's not a shadow. It's not a shadow. It's not a shadow group of Germany. It's pretty much public.
There's a public political group that
Like I
says we want
say,
to bring in brown people to destroy Germany. We want. I mean,
no, that's
I
not the no, that's
like.
not the narrative. But
Yeah.
that's probably it is what is going to happen. Yeah, I mean
I
like
mean, I don't think Germany's going to get destroyed. I mean, Germany's more likely to get nuked by Russia than they are to get destroyed by 300,000 brown people. I think migrant violence is a problem. Like, that's a problem that needs to be addressed.
mm,
But at the same time, I find it really hypocritical to complain about one type of crime and not another. Because it's
that's
like
not what I'm doing.
but that's what I'm getting at is that what you're saying
But
is that
you're
is
asking me questions about the specific things, and I try
yeah,
to
yeah.
if you didn't ask me about Aryan on Aryan crime, otherwise I would
Well, because
give you an answer to that.
because people in that political party never talk about that. Like
You mean
I'm
in the AFD?
yeah, people on the right that complain about migrant or non-citizen violence on citizens never talk about citizen on citizen violence because
Probably
it
because it
has an
doesn't happen
implicit argument
that
that they're
often.
okay with it.
No, I don't think they're okay with any thing of with any part of violence. Whether
But if they aren't, then
it's
why not complain about
committed
it?
by a migrant or committed by a German. Like I
So
say, if
like
a
if
German
then
commits a crime,
why get more
it's not
angry about
something that you see
migrants
every day.
than a regular German?
Like I said, because the increase, the increase and they experience daily in correlation with
So
mostly
you
those
see,
people, is this was dominating the perception of the society. It's pretty easy to say. Like I say, you have a correlation. It's backed up by facts. You have increased since 2015 with migrants. The majority of knife attacks is done by migrants. Not Germans that have a migrant background. No, illegal migrants that are here. You know, the majority of people that are dealing with drugs are done by illegal migrants. It's not something that I like I said came up with myself. These are statistics from the BKA.
okay, but that's not what I'm bringing up. What
You
I'm
know.
bringing up is that if we're complaining about crime, why does the
Mhm.
emotions like this is what I can guarantee you this would be a real thing. If I had like
Because
medical
like I
the
say, because
ability
they're
to
coming
like
here and they are guests. They're coming here, they are guests, and
there
a
we
German
go.
is a
That's
German
it.
here.
Right? There's an
Okay,
expectation
so
that they should be good, subservient people. They should be groveling at their
because
feet, right? To kind of come in.
no, not like that. But Germans are our own problem. We have a responsibility if a German citizen, a native German citizen is committing a crime, then we as a society, it's our responsibility to re-socialize him.
That's a lot more
And
compassionate than deporting somebody. But the government,
and
the
and
German government
if someone is coming, yeah,
has like
but
made
it is what it
like a
is, man.
declaration of taking people in,
If
right?
I come, okay, let me ask you a question, okay? If I come to you, you invite me to your house. I come to you, and I fucked up because of my because I have a really bad childhood, So and I was starting to behave really fucking shitty in front of you. Would you invite me the second time to your house? I told you I have a really shitty background, I was abused by my parents, I still can't get over it, probably never will. I come to your house, I'm starting to smash your refrigerator because you don't have anything to drink in there, I don't mean it, but I'm fucked up because of this shit, Probably gonna hurt you on your arm as well, Would you
You're
invite
gonna
me the
give me a
second
snake
time?
bite.
Snake bite, yeah.
Yeah, the snake
No,
bite.
but would you invite me the second time?
Well,
Or
obviously, I wouldn't invite someone back like that. But that's like
okay,
the
would you
problem
in
is
like if I go to institution where they treat mental those kind of mental problems, and then I come out for 4 months later. Uh, are you going to reset your experience on me and try to welcome me into your home again, or would you still have in mind? Oh, last time he was fucking crazy. I thought he's going to kill me. What would you like? How would you react?
I
Would you
mean, I
give me a
just
second chance after that, or would you
at
still
it
be
at it.
suspicious?
So like the problem is we're taking a macro problem and you're making it in a micro situation. I mean, I'm not. I don't.
Probably.
I'm not, I wouldn't. I just wouldn't associate with somebody like that. Why? And anybody in good conscience wouldn't either.
Yeah,
The
but but
problem is though
but
is
but
that
it
now we
is
need to
what
have
it
a
is,
situation.
man. Because you
No, but see, this is the real example, right? You have the same situation, but now you have a migrant and you have a German person, and the one that's going to make the news is the migrant that does it. The German person is not going to make the news because it's not interesting. So then that's going to bias what you see in the news as like, look at these migrants committing all these crimes. Oh, I hate these migrants. Oh, I hate this. I hate this. Hate this. Hate this. Right? When it's like there's
we also
actual
have a
real
lot
problems of
of
things to
reports
hate,
on
right? Like you are like literally
but I'm not
on the
hating
lower
anyone.
social status income of people looking at people who are like 5 feet below you and saying they're the problem. And like there are literally billion-dollar companies and billionaires and trillionaires who are creating these circumstances, and you aren't even looking at the sky because they're so far beyond our grasp of reality. Like this is what I get. This is what it's funny to me is that like at the end of the day, we're all just being taken advantage of by rich people.
That's for sure, yeah.
But then citing the problem as like, oh, it's these other poor people, these other stupid idiots that are like over here. Like there's like a bunch of rich people made the decision to bring them in the first place, but you're not mad at them, but you're mad at the refugees that they brought in that they're exploiting. That's what it comes down to me, is like the thing that makes no sense is that allowing yourself to be, and then I can guarantee you the leader of the AFD is a grifting piece of shit too, just like Donald Trump probably. Like at every step of the way, like I can guarantee you, if I could take and look into the brain of every single German person that it sees the news and supports the AFD, the emotion centers of their brain would light up like a fucking Christmas tree every time they see a report about a brown person attacking a German person, another knife attack. But if it was a German on German story report, it would never be such the case. Like people's emotions are getting activated over a controversy that is being created by a group of people that they're going after the wrong people. Like it's always the wealthy that are the problem. It's always the wealthy that are creating circumstances.
I'm not going after anyone.
You want to deport brown people? What do you mean you're going after? Your party's going after them, right? This is what they want to do. Like they want to stop abortions.
Okay.
You can't play innocent, in that way. That's not fair,
I think you got something wrong. Because you wanted to hear a little bit about politics, and I gave you like the most neutral insight about politics, and suddenly I'm framed for voting the AFD. Did you ever ask me why I vote for the AFD? It's kind of hypocritical for you to stay here and frame me for things that I didn't even say that I'm pro against. I didn't say I'm pro against abortion, or against abortion. I didn't say that.
You literally did earlier.
I also didn't say that I mostly welcome the idea that everyone is getting deported. No, I just gave you a neutral insight about what kind of politics are currently there. But it was not molded by my personal opinion. That's what you got wrong here, my friend. So once again,
I mean, you literally brought up a story that's not true and said that there's women's getting abortions and being careless, heartless people. Like you're falling for propaganda. I'm trying to deprogram you, and you are not seeing the forest from the trees. That's what I find to be funny, and that's what I find to be funny about every person that falls for these right-leaning parties. Is that they do not reflect on their own critical thinking.
That's what you think that I do.
You literally did right here. I'm looking right at the fucking article, dude. It is a legal loophole in stillborn births that they can get one time. You didn't do any research into your own claim. You're slurping down the news of the controversial news and letting it build your framework of the world. I couldn't imagine what that's like to go through life every day and look at things that make me mad about the news in the world and get mad about it.
I think okay. I have to say, like, I have the feeling like you just wanted the interview to trash on basically the fact that I vote for AFD. Because
I asked
I don't
you,
know
now you're just turning into a personal thing. I asked you. You're the one who brought that up. If you don't expect to be challenged, how do you expect to live in a democracy?
What exactly I brought up that made you so emotional?
Do I have dementia?
I'm sorry. I still try to figure it out.
The abortion part, you brought up something that's not true, and you didn't even know enough about it, and then you're saying like, oh well, these women who are getting abortions willy-nilly, that's why we need to restrict abortions. How is that a policy?
We need to restrict abortions. I didn't say that. I told you that for some reason abortion is appropriate.
Yeah, you said in terms of rape, which is a pretty high metric to hit. I had to explain more of the things back to you. Like this is what I find to be difficult in these conversations, is that I ask you a question about things and then you go to like a clearly like rage bait article version of that story, and then that's your framework that you're having the conversation around. I bring up the AFD's position on abortion, And then you say, oh, well, these women are having these abortions, right? It's like, and I had to bring in men. I had to bring in the man's responsibility in this. I had to bring in German crime statistic, issues in this. Like, when you
Yeah, but
bias your viewpoint of things.
my true standpoint on it is like I don't agree fully on it. If that makes sense, I don't agree fully with the abortion thing.
Yeah.
As same as I don't fully agree with the fact that you think that the AfD wants to deport all the migrants that are here in Germany, which is not true. But like I said, I already gave you an example about the Indian guy that I'm also not for that. So why you try to frame me in this direction? This is something I don't understand.
Now you're doing the now you're doing the thing so okay, now you're now you're trying to play the victim, right? So like you got called out for these things, right? It's like it's just I'm trying, so like over this whole time, like you haven't been aware of it, like I'm trying to get you to like understand, like you are engaging in consumption of media that is biasing your thinking towards a certain way.
Okay.
And so the problem I have is that when I'm bringing up these things of these positions and such, you go to what is clearly a rage bait news article example of it. Like if these are your points of reference, your politics are going to be incendiary because you have been played, you've been conned. All of these stories that exist solely to bias you towards their political party's thinking. If these are your examples, then the way that you consume media is detrimental to you and your health. Because the way that you should consume media is that you should look into the stories, you should fact check them before you say ever repeat them ever. And then you should actually consider what you think both ways. I have done extensive research into the arguments against abortion. I have taken philosophy classes in college that centered around, medical like morality and things like this. And so like that's why I feel somewhat equipped to talk about abortion. But it's weird to me when somebody's like, oh, here's my opinion, but I have no actual basis for anything. I don't even know how frequent the births don't even happen. Like,
yeah, but you ask me like if I'm sorry, Bolly, but I don't understand. You ask me like, am I for abortion? I told you in some cases I'm not for it. In some cases I'm for it.
Yeah, well that's my
opinion. You literally asked me for my opinion. And I didn't, and then I gave you one example that has nothing to do with my opinion, that aside, about the Australian thing that I heard, that when they are carelessly trying to make a profit out of it, that would be a thing that I wouldn't stand for. So
yeah, but that example is like a ridiculous thing that doesn't happen or exist. You're buying into a false narrative of something.
Okay, let's put it aside. Let's leave it like that. It doesn't exist. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah,
then to the next thing. So and then you frame me for saying that I'm for deportation of everyone. That is not true. And that I'm don't give a shit about Aryan crime. This is something that I totally didn't say. That is completely made up by you. So
like that's
okay. And we already agreed.
You're not hearing my problem. My problem is people in this party never talk about that.
Hold on one moment. We already agreed on the fact that the Indian example that I gave you, that we both agree on the thing that this is something that is not right? When a person is here illegal but he is working. And then the second thing also we agreed on was the economic part about the prison or deportation, which we agreed on that if it's cost efficient to have them in the prison, then I would also stand for it. So why do you say I'm completely like ruined by the media? That's not it. You didn't ask me a single question about why I even vote for the AfD, because for your surprise, I would inform you that I'm not voting for the things specifically that are promoting. I'm just voting hard opposition because I'm tired of the old parties.
That's okay, but your reason for voting doesn't mean anything.
Lying? No.
Because your reason for voting doesn't mean anything if the party that you're voting for has these policies. I mean, right now what you're telling me is like, I'm an Hispanic and American and I voted for Trump and now I'm sad that Trump is deporting my family. Like, no, there are so many stories of right now you're telling me that you're a leopard that's surprised that, or you're surprised that the leopard ate your face.
No,
Like you can't be like, oh,
no.
I'm voting for this party, but I'm not voting for their
No.
policies. You can't have it both
I'm
ways,
not.
right?
Look, I'm not voting complete. I told you I'm not standing for everything they have. But
Is
if they
there is
get
that a
voted,
way?
I have to
Can
deal
you
with
is
it.
that a way to vote in Germany? Do I not know how voting works? Is like, can you say like I vote for the party, but they can't enact any policies if they win under my vote?
Okay.
Like you're trying to make a like you're trying to
No,
here's what it sounds like you're doing. You're trying to morally absolve yourself of the evils that the party is going to do. Is what it sounds like.
I think you want to frame me in a very bad light, and I don't know
What,
why you're doing that. You know.
why are you making yourself a victim when I'm challenging you on some of these positions?
No, you're not challenging me. You're literally saying that I'm wrong on all occasions and stuff, and the fact that I'm voting for AFD is a crime in itself. That's basically what it is, and
No, I
it has
said that
nothing to
you.
do
It
with
sounds like you
challenging.
want to
No, it
morally
has nothing to
absolve
do with challenging.
yourself from your vote.
It's first of all, it has nothing to do with respect. The way that you imply, yeah, that I am a certain way that I am. Second of all, the way that you, like I said, talk to me, like in the last 15, 20 minutes, is not very respectful. Third of all, you try to
So
frame
like,
me in a
okay,
way
so
that
like
I'm a
so you're
fucking
gonna
stupid Trump voter
you're making yourself
that's
the
driving
victim.
this
You're tone
tractor.
policing because I didn't say it the
Yeah,
right
you see,
way.
and then
But like,
now you
why
say
do
that
you
I'm
get
making
carte
myself the
blanche to
victim.
bring up lie examples? Why is that okay?
Now you, like I said, now you say that I'm playing the victim card.
You are.
Like I said, I thought this is going to be. I give you a neutral view of the politics in Germany, but all you care about is to frame me in a specific way. That's what it is. I'm sorry.
I mean, I think any sane person that would listen to this would understand that I'm sane and I'm
I'm
going
sorry,
off the
but
things that you're
diff,
saying, right?
even you have to be. Do you have to be fair? There are interviews where both parties not on equal terms, but it's still a respectful way uh,
Okay, so if
in
so,
that
okay, so
interview. And this
here
is
so
this
you're
went
making the
like the
argument
last
that that is
20
what
minutes.
causes politics in America not to work, which is that in America you have like the Republican lie, and Republicans lie all the time, and then you have like the Democrat kind of thing,
No,
which
I
is like
didn't say
usually the
that.
true, right? And they put these two things together on NPR, right? And then what happens to the truth when you put it next to a lie? Well, the value of truth turns to
No,
zero. So like
no.
for me, like it doesn't seem to have it's not morally okay to allow that kind of thing.
You know the problem with what you do in an interview. Like I said, you're jumping to conclusions right before because like you accused me of having this rage bait. You exactly also got rage baited in return. You know because for you just were, in my opinion, you were just waiting for me to address those things that you were waiting for. You know, like trigger words, in order for you to start to get on a rampage on me. But it's fine.
I
Like
went through
I
the
see it now.
AFD policy sheet and asked you questions.
And I don't know why you're doing that. You know, I think it's weird. You know, because I know you for so long, and then for you to behave like that in an interview is very weird. You know, you think of me as a bad person, I assume, for some reason, but I can only say it's not that way. I already explained why. I could also go on and tell you I actually wanted to go and tell you why I choose the AFD. I don't have to go 100% with the AFD. That's not the thing. That's not how voting works. You know.
What does that
I
mean? What does that mean? Is there a
for
different type
example
of voting in Germany?
no, I also don't like, for example, the öffentlich-rechtlichen Medien. You know, which is the media, which we have to force pay every month. You know, I don't like to
You have to
force
pay
pay it.
to
So
watch the
yeah,
media?
yeah.
Is it like a license
So this
in England?
I don't know about the license in England, but it's called öffentlich-rechtliche Medien, you know, and we have to pay it. It's actually it's actually when you don't pay it, you go to jail in worst cases. It is really like this.
So
So
there's is that
for
like cable?
TV
Like
shows or
forced cable? Like to watch TV?
yes, if you
Also,
own a
so
if you
Germany,
own
so
if
the
you own a,
UK has this too. Okay. So
yeah,
what is the
and this
purpose
is
of it?
something that I don't like. Yeah, the purpose is to actually educate the society, but they miss the point and do weird shows, you know, and they are like really biased, and that's the thing I don't. the point is I don't want to force pay for it because I don't watch it. And that's what the AFD stands for. They want to cancel that system. And that's the thing that I'm for, you
So
know.
that
I'm
sounds kind of
but
like PBS. America has like a public broadcasting system, but that's just like funded through taxes. But it sounds like it's just
yeah,
a separate
it's funded
tax.
through taxes. Yeah, it's not called officially a tax, but you could call it a
I mean, if
tax,
you're
you
going
know.
to
But
jail
it's
if you don't
something
pay
that
it,
I
that
don't.
sounds like a tax to me.
Yeah, it is like that. If you're continuing to refuse to pay, they're gonna threaten you with jail time, and you end up going to jail. Like there are people literally going to jail for it.
I mean, I've heard
So
those kind
yeah,
of
that's the
stories in the
thing.
UK, so
Like I said,
there's
this is
that
something
thing.
that I also wanted you to tell. You know,
Yeah.
completely neutral aside the fact with the migration and shit. I don't know why we got heated up in this whole abortion and migration thing, but it was
Well,
not the
that
purpose of.
article thing you tell me about the abortion was insane to me. So, but okay, so
Okay,
they force you to
maybe
pay
it
this
is. You
fucked
know,
up shit to watch their shitty programming, like their shitty TV shows, or is it just news?
yeah, it was supposed to inform the society about current things. You know, or to educate them through this. There are three TV. Let me see which one it is. Um,
I think I did see a thing about
so
them
there
wanting
are
to take
so
that
there are
away.
three channel there are three channels, you know, ARD, ZDF und WDR, I believe, which are transmitting, you know, their so-called educating and informative stuff. But like I said, it's totally not that, because everything currently around is uh, to rally up against right-wing policy and stuff like that. So it's not very educative at all. So that's what, and the thing is, I don't watch those channels in the first place. So
So what is so?
the
How
mere
do
fact that you
you?
have a TV
If you have a TV,
makes
you
you
have to have it. Is that the requirement?
no if no the mere fact that you have a TV and forces you to pay those, yeah, let's say taxes,
Yeah, it's a tax.
or those fees. Yeah, it's not officially a tax. It's not declared as a tax, but it's actually a fee. But you're forced to pay it.
That's kind of. It sounds like from what you're telling me, it's like you're paying for your own propaganda, but it's like
Yeah,
from another
just look up
side.
just look up Rundfunkbeitrag or GEZ. I can also write it down to you here.
I
GEZ or Rundfunkbeitrag. And this is
Rund.
actually what
Holy
I wanted
shit!
to continue with. I didn't want to stand in the whole abortion and migration part, you
Oh, this
know.
whole
I just
website is
wanted
in
to go to all
Germany.
the
Well, they have a pretty white woman
yeah.
on here. Isn't this what this looks nice? Let me read it in
What
American.
exactly?
I don't know. I came up with a German website when I put it in. But there's lots of white people on here. Where's the? Do they have like what is? Because you said it was like biased programming sometimes. Where is? What kind of things do they have? Do they tell you? Is it like do they have like a parade of brown people who are working like really good
You're
jobs?
looking
Like
at the website. You're
yeah,
looking at the website currently,
yeah.
probably, right? Yeah.
Uh,
I'm talking about the shows they're running on those channels.
yeah, the website's not very well made. I can't find oh, channel family. Solidarity. What is it? Is this it? Oh my god, there's like 1,000 things popped up. So yeah, this looks like it's just like a PBS kind of equivalent, but it has multiple channels. But yeah, I mean,
So yeah,
does it ever get so ridiculous where they're like having that type of like complete disconnect from reality? Because it does sound. I mean, the migrants now do sound like a real problem. I mean, if they have a 68 plus unemployment rate, that is horrific. I mean, and part of the problem is their culture, but part of the problem also is maybe German acceptance. You know, it goes both ways. But there is a big cultural
yeah,
problem when it
but
comes to
you
Muslims as
think you
well.
think
So with this
exactly,
thing, do
and
they like?
you have the statistic, and you have the statistic there saying 68% are unemployed, but you didn't ask what our current government is going to do about it. You know, if they're ever trying to
I mean, if it's that
integrate them in
bad,
our
doesn't I mean,
society.
I did read a little bit where it seems like they're. I read one thing that said that they were proud that the numbers weren't higher, which I thought was laughable.
Yeah. So you see, like, I mean, come on, like seriously, am I that kind of bad person because I'm voting for the AFD?
I mean, I think some of the things that they want to do are pretty ridiculous, and I don't think,
Our current government is also doing ridiculous stuff, you know?
yeah, but you kind of, I feel like as a voter, you kind of need to take responsibility for like what comes out of it, right? To a degree,
Absolutely,
you know?
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. I
If
mean,
I tell you, if AFD comes into power, you know, and it
mhm.
turns out that that they are going to shred this country, you know, I'm gonna stand there and say I voted for this. I'm gonna try to make it right. But on the
So
other hand, I expect it from those people that are currently voting for the old parties, and the old parties are doing also their shit, you know,
okay, yeah. Let
money-wise,
me ask you
budget-wise.
this one.
And
Like,
where is the responsibility from them, you know?
well, what are the things? I mean, they're working, right? Aren't they still contributing? Like, we're kind of getting into like in a whataboutism, right? Where it's like, what about them? Like, I'm not going to hold myself to a standard until somebody else does, right? Which is like,
Yeah,
you
because
know,
uh, like I hear so many accusations, and people are afraid that when the AfD is going come to power, that whole Germany is going to be Nazi Germany, and this kind of bullshit.
that's
And I'm so
amazing.
yeah, and then I'm so tired of it. And then the Nazis going to ride dinosaurs, you know, through the streets and shit like that.
Okay,
Not,
let me ask you. So AFD comes in and they're gonna like, if you don't have the right skin tone, you're getting kicked out of the country. Then you're
this is
down,
not true.
you're fighting. No, but like, let's just say, because what you just said was kind of like that, right? So I just want to ask you, like, let's say that happens, right? AFD gets in
Yeah,
power and they're doing the worst version of everything they said they wanted to do, because that's kind of like what Trump's doing, right? Like, there are a lot of people who voted for
yeah.
Trump and they're getting, their families getting deported, and they're like, I didn't vote for this, right? So like, let's say that happens, right? Like, it sounds like you're going to be down there in like the riot squad fighting to get like the you're going to be Antifa then at that point. Like, do you join Antifa
Yeah,
if AFD is like doing like skin tone checking, and they're going to like kick people out, just
absolutely.
even the good working ones. They're going to kick out the good working ones too even. So you go Antifa then when that happens.
Look, the thing is like, okay, but you have to consider what you're what you're asking now is if the AFD comes into power and is going totally against what they are promised in the
I mean, I'm
protocol,
not even
right?
saying as promised. I'm saying the worst version of everything.
Yeah, but it's still against those things that they actually promised, you know, because they are the worst things are not things that are promoting right now. So yeah, totally. If they are going to come into power and they lie about their promotion, you know, and actually not sticking to them to what they were promoting, obviously that I would have a problem with it, of course, because then they had lied to me as a voter.
Okay, I mean that makes sense.
It's
I mean
logic. It's
okay. There
logical,
we
right?
go.
It's logical, right? Because, like I say, I'm not 100% behind the abortion thing. Like I said, I'm not 100% behind the deportation thing. You know, but like I said, I'm so sick of the old parties that I say, okay, I think the AFD is going to bring um, uh, a new how you say that
They're gonna kind of bring a kind of internal criticism or like challenge to
internal
what is
challenge.
currently
Exactly.
being done
Yes.
with the
So
migrants
people so
and
so, pe-
some
so
other
pe-
problems.
yeah, because in my opinion, people are really like uh, just try to what you said. Look what it's currently in the media, you know, and based on that they make their opinion and don't even do any research or anything, you know. And or the thing that you accused me of not doing research. Um, and it gets to the point where you have like bias, like really hard biased opinion, you know. Like also the fact that I'm called a Nazi that doesn't like any any migrants or something. Like I said, I'm a migrant myself.
Yeah, they might take away your citizenship.
They can't. Why would
I
they?
don't know. I was
It doesn't
reading.
make
I was when I
it
was
doesn't
reading.
make any sense,
Oh,
man.
I got it right here. Where is it? In the AFD, they said that they would remove dual citizenship except for extreme certain what was it? Certain cases. What if the
Yeah,
AFD
dual
came after your
citizenship.
citizenship?
Dual citizenship means that
Yeah.
you have dual citizenships. If they come from my Polish citizenship, they can have it.
No, they're gonna make you non-German anymore. Yeah, here we go. Dual
That's
nationality.
bullshit,
Obtaining
man.
dual citizenship while being a citizen of another country is rejected by the AFD in principle, although they do make some exceptions. Do you think you would be an exception, I guess?
Yeah, but
Oh
that
wait,
doesn't
no, it
mean
does
that they're
not.
taking away my German. What the fuck, man? That doesn't mean they're taking away my German
What do you
citizenship.
mean? They say they actively don't support that except for
They
justified
don't support
exceptions.
two citizen. They don't support two citizenships at the same time, like I have, because I told you I was
Yeah,
born in Poland. So by birth, I have automatically the Polish one,
yeah.
and in addition to that, I received the German one. So I have also two. But they don't come to me and say, I'm going to take away your German one. They come to you and say, you have to, if you want to continue living here, you have to keep your German one and don't have a Turkish one, for example, because this is the problem with this is mostly because of Turkish people, because they're saying at one time they're saying I'm German and at one time saying I'm Turkish. And that's why they play around with their citizenships.
Okay, what is I guess what is
But
the
there's
harm
never
of
going to
being a
be a
dual
scenario.
citizen?
Let me go back to the to your anxiety about so many people losing their German citizenships. It doesn't make even economically
I mean,
sense
I don't
because
have an
the,
anxiety about people. I'm literally read. This is their policy. I literally read it verbatim. Like I don't have an. I don't care
no,
about German people losing their citizenship. I'm asking you: are you going to be an exception? Do you think you're a model exception of somebody who deserves dual citizenship?
I don't even want dual citizenship. Why would you want dual citizenship?
Why if you have okay, here's an example. This is okay, so let's say let's say you're the example, but let me just add a few things, right? Let's say you
Yeah,
have a loving family in Poland and you would like it to be very convenient for you to like potentially move back there or live there with that loving family someday, but your citizenship get taken away. Suddenly it becomes harder. That sounds like a pretty reasonable example to have dual citizenship to me. That's why we have that in America and Canada.
okay.
Doesn't that sounds reasonable to me? So like my question is, what is the harm of having dual citizenship?
It's no harm.
Okay, but then why get rid of it then? That's my like why? What is the meaning? Because they don't really give
Like
an
I said,
example of other. Well, they say that there is a loss of language and culture, but
yeah.
that's not really seems to be the case. I mean, if you're in Germany, you're it just seems to be an old way of thinking in terms of like the planet in general, right? Like everything's kind of metropolitan. It's like a culture of the planet to a degree. Like, yeah, if you live in Germany, you're going to have the German cultures and the German norms and you're going to speak German, I hope.
Yeah.
So like it just to me this kind of policy when I read this in like a political party it feels very insecure. It feels like they're afraid that they are going to lose something that is already off the table in terms of just where geopolitics are in the modern era to me. That's how that reads to me. I'm just kind of curious like what is like if you're
Like I
afraid of,
said, I don't have. I didn't even know that I have a second citizenship just a couple of months ago. So for me, it's no problem just
well yeah, for
having
you
one.
it's no problem,
And
but there are people who this will
it's
matter to
obviously
though.
going to be it's obviously going to be a German one. Yeah, but it's opinion. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, no, but I'm asking you to like, well, like when we're talking about voting, we're looking at policies that affect more than
Yeah,
just us. So like I'm asking you, when it comes down to that, what do you think the harm is in dual citizenship? Like, do you agree with this? Like, do you think there is a harm in dual citizenship? What do you think? Like, I gave you my opinion. Like, I'm kind of curious because like you're just focusing on kind of like you, but like I want you to kind of broaden it
yeah.
out a little bit, I guess.
I don't know if there's a harm. I don't see it.
Okay, that's fine. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, but I also say like I wouldn't have a problem with just having one. Like but yeah, but voting first of all it involves me. What's good for me before I think about others.
Is there like a thing in here about because I mean you've been kind of economically messed with
Hmm.
recently, like I mean did they have a thing about I mean that situation sounds I don't know, you didn't really tell me too much about it. I don't know too much about it, but like did they have like a thing that would help you at all that way of like getting money owed by like an employer?
What do you mean? Sorry, I
Or
didn't get
because
that.
you said like you were working for a while and your employer didn't pay you, right? So I was just
My
curious
employer
if
didn't pay me. Oh, you mean my current one?
I don't know. It was like a conversation we had a bit ago, and you were saying that I was like, oh, it sounds like you're a slave then.
No. Oh, he had to file for bankruptcy. But the bankruptcy case is has started now, and I'm receiving my money just normally. It was
Okay,
just for the
so
period.
so in that situation, where does the money come from then? Does it come from the government or does it come from the employer? Do you
It comes
know?
from the government.
Okay, so it's kind of like an unemployment thing.
Well, it's called bankruptcy. Yeah, I don't know if you could say it's called bankruptcy money. Let me see what it's translated actually. Um, yeah, bankruptcy money basically. So you have to you receive money from the government for a period of 3 months. Just about the when the bankruptcy is about to start. So 3 months period backwards, basically, you receive that from the government, and then when the bankruptcy is opened, after the uh, after this 3 months, he has to pay the government the money back.
Oh, okay, so it's a loan system between the employer and the government.
Basically, yes.
Interesting, because that's how childcare works in America in terms of like if two parents are separated, is that the dad actually pays the government and the government pays the mom. And it's basically like a loan system between them. Essentially, is how it works. But people don't really know
Yeah,
that it's like facilitated that way. They just think like the dad gives the money and then the money goes to the mom, and it usually works that way. But there is like generally a facilitation of loaning between the two, just to kind of usually make sure that the person raising the kid is getting a supplemental income to like take care of that child.
yeah, yeah. That's basically yeah, what happened recently. But like I said, the bankruptcy case was like opened at the beginning of this month, and I will receive my next loan on the next month, just normally again.
Interesting. I mean, that sounds like a pretty good system for them. I wish America had something like that. America's a shithole. You lose your job, your
Yeah, but
employer
you
goes
see,
bankrupt, it's over for you.
yeah, but this also count as a social system, but it's not completely free because you have to pay it back. I also have to pay back the money that I basically they will calculate it, how much I received for those 3 months because it's not the whole amount
You have to pay back
that I
unemployment
work normally did.
benefits?
Yeah,
What the fuck? How? That is
yeah,
insane.
because listen, like I said, I'm still employed, right? I
Okay.
just didn't receive for 3 months money, so they cover up those 3 months, but they don't pay you the full amount that you would actually be allowed to have according to your paycheck amount. So they pay you a smaller piece of it in order for you to survive those 3 months, so you can pay your rent and your gas and your electricity and stuff like that. And then after those 3 months, they're gonna calculate it, how much they paid you, and you will receive a huge amount because we have two separate institutions. One's called Job Center, and the other called Agentur für Arbeit. And Job Center is basically the ones that don't work at all and try to be integrated back into the working market. And Agentur für Arbeit are the peoples that worked and just suddenly lost their job, and then they're allowed to have a payment by the government for 1 year, and in this year they have to do everything they can to go back into work, if that makes sense. It's a little bit weird,
No, that's how
but
it
yeah,
works
this
in
is like
America too. Where it's like, except in
okay.
America, it's like immediately. You're like they're like harassing you every week. If you're not looking for jobs, then you're gonna lose all your benefits and die.
Yeah, they do it here as well, apparently. And
The paying back the unemployment is like the most insane thing I've ever heard. That is like a wild policy. Because if you're on
yeah,
unemployment, you're probably not you're not in the business of having loose cash to pay
yeah,
back the government.
but it's the thing. I am employed. You know, they
So
just
is that
cover up the
why
fact
it's
that
messier for you because you have
my
that?
no. The thing is, my boss cannot pay because he has currently this bankruptcy going on. It's like a pre-bankruptcy,
Mm-hmm.
and until then, until the real bankruptcy starts, which happened this month, I didn't receive for the last 3 months, which is July, June, and May, my money. So they jump in and cover up, but they don't pay you the full amount. It's called Bürgergeld, you know?
Yeah.
So you get like $1,000 a month. So it's barely a minimum to cover up your stuff. And
Okay, I'm
after
gonna
those 3 months, you know, when the case started, the Agentur für Arbeit goes and gets from the bankruptcy mess his part. They pay me out. And then job center calling me and saying, okay, we heard that you received your full amount for the 3 months. Now we want the part back that we gave you to cover up those 3 months.
So do you even gain money off that, or you just is it just a like a zero interest loan is what you're describing?
Zero interest loan, basically, yes.
Damn, that sounds like the worst unemployment system imaginable. That's even worse than
Yeah,
America
because it's
somehow.
no, it's just because it's a specific case. In normal cases, I would be fired in a bankruptcy, but they managed to let me stay unemployed because he has 3 companies. You know?
And so because you're still working, you're in this gray area where you're getting income and have to pay it back. But it was okay. It's
Yeah,
really messy.
yeah,
Okay, I'm
yeah.
gonna read. I want to try to read one of these German words, and you can laugh at me. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. This is unemployment benefit one. Arbeitslosengeld. Is
Yeah,
that
Arbeitslosengeld.
okay? Did I say that right? Arbeitslosengeld. Okay, that was pretty good. What about
Yeah, yeah. I
Burger? What
understood.
about Burgengeld? Burgergeld.
Yeah, Bürgergeld, like I said, is this what I received? This is around 1,000 euro
Okay, so you're
that you
receiving the
get each
equivalent
month.
of burger Big Macs. They pay you in Big Macs in Germany.
No, unfortunately not, no.
Unfortunately, not. So you want to get paid in Big Macs?
Yeah, it would be cool.
I want to find
Everyday
some more
one.
German words to
The
say.
Big Mac really really lost his touch, to be honest.
The Big Mac, yeah, the
Like
Big Mac's ass.
15 years ago, Big Mac was really good.
It
Still,
was it
but
was
even
big.
20. Yeah, and now it's just
Now
mostly
it's Baby
like
Mac.
yeah, Baby Mac and full of greens, full of salad only.
Yeah, 50% of it's just a salad. That's basically what it is. Is the Big Mac at is that Burger King?
You mean McDonald's?
Is the Big Mac at McDonald's or Burger King?
Yeah, yeah.
Where is the Big
Burger
Mac?
King,
What is Big Mac?
Big Mac is McDonald's.
Oh, you're right. Oh man, I don't go to any of these places. What does the
Burger
Burger
King
King
has
have?
uh, Big
Oh, the
King
Whopper.
XXL.
What do they call the Whopper in Germany?
A Whopper?
Do they call it like Schingeflappe Hupedappen?
Nah,
Germany
we just
Whopper.
English.
Just
We also
English?
English, so it's a Whopper, yeah.
Oh. But right here it says Der Neue Whopper. Mit neuem Nach Fluffengerem Bun. What did I just say?
I don't know, man. And something
What
something with
about the
bread.
pregnancy Whopper? Do you want to eat that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, let me show you. I'm going to show you this image of 3 Whoppers and you tell me which one you want to eat. They're all disgusting.
Oh my God.
Describe them.
What is really a pregnancy Whopper?
The one on the left has fries and strawberry ice cream. The one in the middle is a regular Whopper with whipped cream and pickles. And the
Yeah.
one on the right looks like it's just a bunch of cheese curds and lettuce.
And nuggets.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I
So
don't
which
know.
one of
I
these do
don't
you
want
want
to
to
eat
eat?
that. Nothing, man. It's disgusting.
You don't want to eat any of them? Okay, which
Man,
one is
it's
what
the same,
political party? I
same
think
shit as you put pineapple on pizza, man.
what?
The same
Pineapple on pizza?
discussion,
You don't
man.
like pineapple on
It's the
pizza?
same. It's the same discussion, man.
Holy shit. Oh my god, here's an even bigger one where it's like multiple layers of burgers. I think the AFD is the middle burger. That's the vibes I'm getting from the AFD. And then the Christian group, I think they're the right burger. You know, they're trying to come off as really plain and simple. And then I don't know what other groups in Germany exist. Maybe there's like
Yeah,
some pro-Polish national. No, the Asian group, the Asians that they're gonna form their own coalition in Dusseldorf. They're on the left because like the strawberries, the sakura trees.
probably, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's what's
But
going on.
I'm missing a little bit of blue. So because the main color of AFD is blue, so
Oh, okay. Let me see. Let me find some more burgers. Okay, no, these are the same. Oh my god, these are actually menu items. What the so in Germany to encourage women to get pregnant, these are what they're selling women.
Jesus Christ, man.
Is right?
The one with the I don't know what it looks like, a cake even in the middle.
Right?
Torty and beef.
Dory
Like
and beef. It's like
who,
5
who in his right
layers.
mind would eat this shit, man? And
Well,
olives on the
pregnant
left, on the
German
right
women, I
even?
guess.
Oh my god.
Are you thinking about going back to Poland after you see this menu?
Is this an abortion menu, or what the fuck is
if
this even?
if you
I can
eat
imagine
this
if
while
they eat
pregnant,
this.
I think you have to have a forced abortion. Or no, you have
Yeah,
to force
you're gonna,
carry the baby to term.
you're gonna shit out on both sides, man, definitely.
The one on the bottom right might be the most vile thing I've ever seen in my life. Ice cream and green olives and tomatoes.
Yeah. Oh my god, man.
How the fuck? Who was? This can't be a real menu item.
I didn't even know that they exist until now, to be honest.
Oh, here's the news article. Burger King gave out free pregnancy Whoppers at one location in Germany for Mother's Day. I hope this is real. This is amazing if so.
Vanilla ice cream and bratwurst and nuss nougat cream. So you basically have sausage with nougat on top of a burger. Okay, how are you supposed to hold it even if
Oh my god,
the
they have
top is
pictures below of more burgers, and one of them is just a fucking half of a fish.
yeah, a brathering.
The burger's got
Fucking
fucking
sausage.
cream on it.
You have sausage, you have a patty, and a fucking half of a fish. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Never mind, I take it back. Living in Germany is akin to living in hell, and the unemployed crime people need to get kicked out. Actually, no, they should be forced to stay in Germany because if this is what you guys are eating, this is torture.
Probably that's why they're coming. For those
They're like,
burgers.
ooh, look at these good meals. I think this would be
Also,
this would be
so many
halal
colors.
or some shit. What do they call it? I don't know.
Haram?
Haram. It would be harambe.
You mean haram in terms of being bad, or
Yeah,
halal in
I
terms
think
of being good?
oh, is that what those two words mean? Wow, you already know more about their
Yeah.
culture than I do. You should be like
Well,
the political envoy for them.
I'm hanging out. I hanged out with migrant people my whole life, so I know a lot. Yeah,
Wow. Do you got the
like I
migrant
said, I'm a
pass?
migrant myself. What?
Do you get the migrant pass?
What is that?
It's
Can I
like
say the
you. That's
N-word
like
or what?
when you can like yeah, like you can use like racial slurs against them and they don't care.
I do it on a daily basis. Man, how else would I communicate with them?
That's like half of the dialogue is whatever racial slur they. I don't even know what they would go by. I'm sure there's probably some really
Yeah,
fucked up ones.
mostly insulting family members and stuff like that.
Okay, so basically, like your mama jokes.
Yeah, in a
Okay,
foreign language.
but in a foreign language. Okay, that's good. Okay, so what do you want your final word to be about German politics and the AFD? Why don't you take it away?
Mm. Like I said, I hope that I'm doing the right decision, and that the AFD is not going to turn out to be a lying sack of shit, and they make things worse. But probably they will, because at the end it's politics. So it really doesn't matter who you choose, because for some reason everything is corrupt, it seems, these days. But yeah, I hope that, like I say, with my vote, I can bring a little bit of challenge and not an hardlining outcome. So, like, my intentions are really, my intentions are pure. My intentions are for the good of society and for people in general, even if it's for some people hard to understand, you know.
I mean, it was
And
kind of hard for me to understand at times. So,
yeah,
I mean, I
but
think that's why
that's what
politics are messy.
That's why, like I said, that's why we have different opinions, and that's why we have democracy, and come together, and get to even ground at hopefully for most of the points.
I mean, I
And
think,
yeah,
yeah, it sounds like
it
what
was
we really
it
need
was
is Burger King
interesting
menu items.
it was interesting interview.
Hmm.
I thought midway that you're going to renounce me as a friend for what it
Here,
sounded,
I'll
but
close
yeah,
it out. So I just want to, thank you for your time. It got a little
yeah, no
heated there,
problem.
but it's okay.
Yeah, no problem. I thank you also for the interview and for the chance.